Hey, what's up, everyone? Sean here with BlueRidgeSilverhound, and we are going to go ahead and jump into January 26th, 2022's Pocket Change Market Report. This is your midweek edition of this report where we take a look at some of the coolest and most interesting errors and varieties that folks like you and I have pulled out of change, coin roll hunting, bankroll stuff. In addition to something that I like to do on occasion, and that's cherry pick my local coin shop or the local coin show. So yeah, we got a pretty healthy lineup of really cool coins in addition to a few of mine that just sold a few moments ago. I mean, I had to do it, at least for once. BlueRidgeSilverhound makes the Pocket Change Market Report, and yeah, it's freaking tastic. It's just the market's still pretty good. What else more can I say? I think a lot of folks are really pushing forward to finding a lot of these really nice key coins out there, as opposed to going out and buy it. You know, why not try and find it and either add something really spicy to your collection or sell it and make a really good amount of money. I know a number of people that make a living off of eBay just selling some of the coins that they've found on out in the wild. And you know, it's a fun hobby and it's a fun activity if you really wanted to supplement your income. It's a great way to do it. As you guys know, all the listings in the PCMR are true to each of the respective sellers that have listed these. So I didn't juice any photos or anything like that. I might have cropped a few just so we could get rid of all the negative space around these coins. But yeah, you're going to see what's out there. There's going to be out of focus pictures. There's going to be pictures that have way too much white balance issues on there. You never know what you're going to get. But without waiting too much longer, how about we go ahead and jump in to see what has sold for today. And as you guys know, all of the listings are from the last 24 to 36 hours. Well, how about this one? 1951 S Lincoln Wheat Cent. I can see a few things going on this coin, but this was actually one of my coins that I did sell. So just to let you guys know, in terms of photography, if you want to do a nice, quick, easy photography or photo taking kind of lesson in this, these pictures I have taken with my smartphone. I have a nicer iPhone that I use. I take advantage of all of the different things that you could do on the device. There's a lot of photo editing software that you could get as well, which allows you to crop and play around with the contrast and, you know, to make dark pictures a little bit brighter, you know, things like that. And you know, sometimes you just don't have to spend a lot of money to be able to afford you know, good quality images. Some people say, well, you know, you really need a fancy camera over here, or you know, perhaps you need to buy Adobe Photoshop and all this great stuff. I'm happy to say that's just not the case. But going back to the coin that I've sold here, yeah, you can see a few little die chips. There's one underneath Liberty right there. The E of Liberty has a pretty nice sized die chip. And then a pretty sizable one as well, encompassing the date. Actually, that die chip is pretty far advanced stage for this type because it does connect the 9, the 5, and the mint mark. So it's quite neat. Now, I didn't hit like a super home run off of this coin, but I did sell it for $5.50 with 4 bids. That's not bad. And again, they all add up, and I would say this is probably more of a minor error type. All right, so this is my other coin that I sold just moments ago. This is a 1952S. Okay, we had the same type of thing, occurrence happening on this one. We have a really large-sized die chip that really engulfs a lot of the date, including the mint mark. This one is quite beefy. And believe it or not, this is a coin that for many years I've tossed back, you know, because I did search through a lot of wheat cents back in my day. And yeah, these coins that generally I've tossed back, and that now I know better. because based off of what I've sold this for, which was $31, and that's with 18 bids, by the way, collected to get to that $31. I will never throw these back again. So, you know, even little things like this, ladies and gentlemen, they are certainly worth pulling out of your change or going through those wheat cent bags, you know, good stuff. I'm just happy to see this kind of bidding activity, and it helps kind of, I guess, support the fact that the market is really good, even on the lower end stuff like this. All right, so no more of my coins in here, but we do have just an amazing suite of other folks' coins as well. Here's the 2018 Lincoln Shield cent. Yeah, it's circulated a little bit, but it does look like and appear it is a little bit off center. There might even be a little bit of a partial tilted collar as evidence from this edge view where you can actually see the railroaded stepped appearance to the edge of the coin. That means the collar was a little bit tilted. It wasn't fully engaged into its set position before the strike of this coin occurred. So there you go. Pretty neat looking coin. This one sold for $10.50 with 2 bids. Again, these are floating around out there, and oftentimes the coin will appear off center when in reality it's a partial tilted collar. All right, some more old Lincoln Wheaties. We have a 1955D, and you guys are going to like this one. This is a really cool variety. It's a doubled die obverse. You can see right here the doubling in the 1 in 9 in the date. But also take a look at that eyelid. It's got the doubled eye on there. So those are going to be your 2 main diagnostical features of this particular double die. Furthermore, it's an FS101. It's recognized in the Cherry Picker's Guide, and quite honestly, it's not a hard variety to find. This was actually one of my first doubled dies I've ever pulled out of a wheat cent bag eons ago. We're talking like 20, 25 years ago. This was one of the first ones I've found. This one right here ended up selling for a really good amount of money. $39.65 is a rather healthy market for a coin like this. There was another one that had sold earlier yesterday for around $20, but that one was also mid-state red. So there's a pretty good kind of deviation from one to the other, because this one right here is circulated. But nonetheless, it's a great variety. Be on the lookout for this one. And here's a 2001 Lincoln Memorial cent. The coin's not in great shape. There's some corrosion issues and things of that manner on the coin. So again, it's not a beautiful coin, but it is something. It's a coin that was struck off center, but I would say 10%, give or take. This one ended up selling for $32 with 8 bids. And I have a feeling, I'm just trying to figure out why that this one sold for $32. You know, 2001 is one of the more common dates of off-center strikes for the series. So, I don't know. It's a very, very ambitious amount of money for this one, but it did sell for $32. And here's also 2001, also I believe from the same seller. This one is, however, broad struck. So much like the partial tilted collar that we saw previously, the collar was not even present during the strikes, so that metal flow has to go outwards. This one right here, really nice, really, really clean example. I don't see anything that would scream at me, it's, you know, to say avoid this coin at all costs. But this one ended up selling for a cool $10 bill. All right, that's more in line of what I think these coins are worth based off of the volume of them out there. And here's also 2020D. Now we have a Denver coin in the list, which is kind of nice. Denver minted coins don't traditionally see the volume of errors and varieties in comparison to Philadelphia minted coins. So this is a nice change of pace here on this Weir Farm National Park quarter. As you can see, it looks and appears off center, but again, much like the previous coin a few minutes ago, this one also exhibits that partial tilted collar. You can see a little bit of the reading if you look to the right here. And then as we come across here to this area, Yeah, the collar wasn't even present at that time. This one also sold for $10. Pretty solid. Now here's a 1946D. Now this particular variety is one that I'm willing to bet a vast majority of people have overlooked. Put me in that boat as well. I've never personally looked at these up until about, I would say, 6-7 years ago, and have found quite a few of them. The doubled eyelid, double die versus some of these Lincoln Wheat scents are quite nice, and this one is no exception. If you look here, you can see the extra eyelid right there, but hey, check out the bridge of this nose. That's pretty nice as well. You also have some doubling there. The coin's in really nice shape. It's designated as WDDO number 1 through the Wexler files, and this one sold for $34.65. And this particular seller has offered up another really brilliant 2017 P Lincoln Shield scent with the amazing clash that you could find specifically on this date. They're quite common. Lots of folks are finding them, especially in mint state rolls. But you can just see the overall strength of the clashing on there. You can even see E pluribus unum, kind of like going through Abe's coat right here. Again, this occurs when the dies clash against each other when there's no coin present during the striking process. So the designs will transfer onto each die respectively. Again, very, very nice, very strong error on this one. And as always, they're highly coveted amongst collectors of this type. And this one sold for $21.11 with 2 bids. There's a 1965 Washington Quarter. This one has an uncentered broad strike. So again, that collar wasn't present during the strike. And this one ended up selling for $28.85 with 3 bids. This is about one of the earliest dates that you can find that these are most readily available on. At any given time, I see about probably 3 or 4 of these of this particular date being sold on eBay per month. Now this one's neat, and it's our first, I guess, lot. We have a 2-coin set here of Washington Quarter errors. The one on the left, of course, is a 1980p, slightly off-center, maybe a little bit broad stroke, and a 1986p on the right will just knock your socks off, because when you look close there, you see that folded-in rim burr that was struck into the coin. Yeah, that's what we're looking at here. Pretty neat, and again, this type of error occurrence on U.S. coins trips up a lot of people. They just don't know what they're looking at. But this one is an awfully great looking example of this particular error type. So for the pair, it sold for $30, which isn't too bad. Keep an eye out for these. I found a few of these on like Jefferson nickels and even a Roosevelt dime probably 5 years ago. They're just a neat coin. And again, it's a relatively minor error in numismatics, but it's still one that will give you some value. All right, so this 1970s Lincoln Memorial scent, yeah, it looks like it's underwater, but not really. It's in its original government packaging. This is actually a coin that you can find in a mint set. And this particular case here, this is just the Lincoln scent cut out of that particular mint set. But yeah, there's a really nice variety in this one, and that's going to be this RPM, 1970 S over S. Now, as you can see, the secondary S is north of the primary mint mark. Just a beautiful, beautiful example. And this one sold for $20, which seems to be the going price for mint state type examples of this RPM. So yeah, if you're a cherry picker of mint sets and proof sets, add this one to the list. You will not forget about it. Now here's a very, very nice dramatic error. This is a 1977 Jefferson nickel. This one is actually double struck. The second strike is about 97% off center. That's how crazy it is. And then the little piece that's off center over here actually has a full date. I mean, are you kidding me? That's a rarity in itself, because oftentimes you're not going to have a full date on such a small piece of that secondary strike. There are a few scratches on the reverse. I don't know when those occurred, but it's not a perfect coin by any stretch. But oh my goodness, it's a great example just to have, because it's a dual date, double strike, and those are the most coveted. This particular example, a best offer was accepted in the amount of $135. So, fantastic sale and fantastic buy also for that person that was interested in that. All right, so our next piece of currency is going to be this $1 bill. It's a 1985 Fed Reserve note, and you can see it looks a little bit off center or miscut. However, what we have here is some misalignment of the first print, and that first print is going to be the black underprint on there, with Washington's face and all the extra design devices on the front of the note. The actual third print, which has the district seals and the serial numbers, are all in perfect alignment for this particular note. Pretty well centered. You can see here on the reverse of the note, that second back print is perfectly centered with great margins on there. So on this particular note, it's sold for $85.50 with 28 bids. Just a fantastic find and a beautiful note. All right, we all know what these are. 1983 Lincoln Memorial Cent. You probably see that little raised chip thing right there on the edge of the coin. Okay, we call that a die break cud, or just a cud, however you want to do it. Cuds generally involve the edge, and it goes into the actual design. So this one right here just barely touches Lincoln's bust, and it's a very small one. All right, even though they're this small, they do have some value. Of course, this is a copper-coated zinkin. You can see exposed areas of zinc here, which not too fantastic. That might be something that might corrode in time. Just the wrong amount of moisture will trigger this into a much later phase of its life. But nonetheless, really cool error right here. This one is also attributed on Cuds on Coins' website as CU-1C-1983-18. So there are quite a few Cuds for this particular date. This is number 18 out of all of them. Oh, by the way, it sold for $19.90. Almost forgot, but I didn't forget about this one. In comparison to the 83, I mean, this cut right here is just ginormous. This thing will gain your attention pretty quickly. Now, it's a really nice condition coin. It looks like it probably came out of either a mid-state bag at one point, or maybe a roll. I'm probably leaning more towards a mid-state bag, and I'm willing to bet where there's one, there's going to be a few. Now, obviously, you see the corresponding weakness on the reverse, because there's nothing that's striking the obverse of that coin in this area. So that's definitely something that you want to see and know that that's there for a legitimate cut die break. Just an overall, just wild-looking coin. This one ended up selling for $126.50, and that's with 14 bids altogether. Just a beautiful example. And also from the same seller, he had offered this 1957D Lincoln wheat cent. Now it looks like there's something going on there. Obviously, like the Grand Canyon was going through this coin. That is what they call either a fissure or a ragged clip, or just plain straight up a defective planchet. They're all three of them. This was probably more of an end of strip planchet at one point. They all kind of have this ragged, natural kind of formation on there. This one is really nice. I mean, this is a really long fissure on there, and if you did come across one of these, and I've found a few of these in wheat cent bags over the years. These are all quite desirable, especially one examples that look like this. This one ended up selling for $59 with 14 bids. So another strong seller from this particular individual. And here's the 43S, good old Lincoln scent Steely. This is a zinc-coated steel scent, very popular because it's a one-shot in the community. People love these coins, but look at this one, pretty neat error here. Off-center by about 10% is what we got. And this one ended up selling for $77 with 25 bids. Keeping in mind that the coin does have condition issues, it has circulated quite a bit back in its day before it was eventually discovered and pulled out of change. Excuse me. All right, our next grouping here is going to be a lot of 1999 Jefferson nickels. Now, these are all Philadelphia minted examples. We got 2 double struck coins and then one that's broad struck at the bottom there. I mean, straight up, this was during a period where the Fed Reserve Bank was still releasing these coins in mint-sewn bags. Okay, and that's normally where you're going to find a lot of these. It wasn't until about, I would say, like 2006 where the U.S. Mint and the Fed Reserve Bank did away with actual, I guess, mint-sewn bag type of packaging for these things, which is a shame. You can't really find these too often these days. But this trio of nickels, I'm sure, came out of the same bag, and they're all mint state condition. They're all fantastic. The broad strike, especially, very nice, very, very well centered. This particular set ended up selling for $60. That's not too bad. I would say that there's probably not a whole lot of room because I always kind of promote and push lots as being kind of like a bargain opportunity where you can pick it up and then sell each of the coins individually in the hopes of, trying to double your money. Again, you got to kind of keep an eye out for things like this where there might be opportunity for you guys to cash in on a little bit of a flip. Now here's a 1994 broad-struck Lincoln Memorial cent. A seldom seen date. You don't see this one come up on the market all that often, maybe once, twice a month, thereabouts. But it's a very well-collected coin and error type. People do specialize in these, and they collect by date. All right, so they want to be able to assemble an entire date run, maybe the entire Lincoln Memorial run of broad strikes, and that's why there's so much desirability in these coins. This one ended up selling for $29.74. Just a really pretty looking coin. Mid-state, I would say, is what this one would be. Now, if you're cherry picking just good old bulk stuff, all right, this might be a coin you would come across in a dealer inventory. It's a 35 Buffalo nickel with a curved clip, and it's really not a whole much more that you want to talk about on this coin. Just good old clipped planchet error. It does have a Blakesley effect on the opposite side, so this flattened rim area is what you want to see. This one sold for $26.50 with 4 bids. I could imagine buying something like this for about $1 or $2, and then, just selling it and making a lot more money off of it. Now here's a beauty, 1955 D Lincoln Wheat Cent. What do we have here? Well, we have another RPM. This one is RPM number 4. I believe through doubleddie.com or Copper Coins. So just a really good looking repunch mint mark. It's the secondary D is southwest of the primary mint mark, and that's where you're going to want to look at. There are a ton of RPMs all throughout the 50s in both Denver and San Francisco minted coins. So make sure you are taking a look at every single one. You will soon not regret it. This particular example sold for $19.95. Not too bad considering it's not a cherry picker's guide variety, and it's a number 4. So there you go. This is our only statehood quarter error of the bunch, but it's a good looking one. 2000p Virginia statehood quarter, and it's slightly off center by just a little bit. As a matter of fact, I would probably say it's more broad struck than it is an off center strike because you do have a somewhat natural kind of like rim here on the edge. And just a neat looking coin here. And again, all statehood quarter errors are pretty valuable. This one in its condition sold for $13.50 with 3 bids. So make sure you're looking through your quarters for any sort of error. And here's a 61D, this time on a silver Washington quarter, so even silver coins getting some love this PCMR report. But the 61D has a little bit of a curved clip. Again, it's rather minor, but believe it or not, on certain dates where people do collect these by date, they can be a little bit scarce. This one probably a scarce example because it sold for $59.48, which is nearly 10 times what the melt value is on something like this. So, yeah, pretty crazy. Again, look through your silver. And here's one that I haven't seen ever. This is the first time I've talked about the 1939 Jefferson nickel, and yeah, the pictures are not good, but you guys see that little cut right above Jefferson's head. So that's what we're looking at here on this one. The coin is pretty well circulated. This thing's a beater. And this one sold for $35, which is a really solid sale on a coin in this particular condition. Alright, Coins and Cards saves the day with another banger with a 1972 Lincoln Memorial Cent. Just looking at it, you guys are aware that this is a doubled die obverse. It's FS101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. It's also in the Red Book. And it's also the coin of your desires. If you're looking to either make money or you're looking to add a high-profile piece to your collection, you gotta add one of these in yours. I still have not bought one, and I think I'm pretty much due for one of these. They're just one of the most attractive varieties. If you can't afford a 55 or a 69S, well, not many people can, but this would be another great compromise, but they're still quite pricey. This particular raw example still sold for $430 with 17 bids. Now we have a few lots from this particular seller. This right here is a lot of 5 broad-struck candy half dollars. I can tell you this right now, that the 71D that you see here, this Bicentennial, and this 1990 are all definitely broad-struck in some regards. I can't really tell too much about the 80 and this other Bicentennial, but that's what we have here. Another nice, delicious lot. Again, you want to be a little bit more attentive of what coins are in there, just so you know you're gonna do okay when you go to resell these. Here's the backs of them. Again, there are a few coins in here that are obviously as described. There are a few that I kind of would question. So, just make sure that you're buying what you're getting. So. This one right here sold for $65 with 5 bids. What does that come out to? What, $13 a piece or something like that? Yeah, $13 a piece. So that's kind of high. I think you'll do okay on a few of them, especially the top middle Bicentennial half dollar, because Bicentennial half dollar errors are all quite valuable. You'll see one here toward the end of the show. But yeah, this is not a bad lot. And then also from the same seller, we have another set of 4 candy halves. These all exhibit double rim clips. So they all have 2 curved clips or some amount thereof on each of them. This is a pretty nice lot. Anything with more than 1 clip is quite nice. And this one sold for $47 with 2 bids. So there was a little bit of activity, but it's still sold for a decent amount of money. Now here's another giant cut die break, this time on a 73D. So Denver folks on the West Coast are not feeling left out. You could find this one on in change. This one, as you can see, the big, huge cut right here above his head, Lincoln's head that is. And then you also have that same corresponding weakness on the reverse. This one right here sold pretty closely to what the 66 did. I think I like the 66 a lot more because it's mid-state. This one sold for $104.80. If all things considering, I'd probably take the 66 if I were a buyer. Oh boy, yeah, these 2 coins, man. When they do come up for sale and they finally do sell, and by the way, the market's kind of drying up a little bit. I have a few of these listed, but outside of that, there's nothing else. There was a point in time that I think probably maybe a week or two ago, there was probably at its crest 8 of these for sale via regular auction and just by way of fixed price listing or buy it nows. But we have the infamous 2021 the retained cud die break and also the rim to rim die crack. This is a 2-coin set that was being offered. Of course, you guys know the record so far for this coin is actually a singular coin, and that's going to be the late stage example on the left there. Someone had sold one for, I think, $865, and that was the effective record so far for a singular coin. But this is a 2-coin set, and not too shabby. It ended up selling for $805. I'm just blown away at the value on these things. And I mean, is it worth it? Yeah, I mean, this is, again, like I've stressed before in a previous video, this is the error coin of the decade, or the last 10 years. And so far, nothing else has quite matched this in terms of value. Just an insane group of coins. We do have a couple coins left. How about 1960D? Now, the pictures aren't too hot as far as the full obverse picture, but the close-up, not too bad. This is the small over large date, double to die obverse. In addition, it's also an RPM. You can see that secondary D is north of the primary right here. Again, just another staple in the Lincoln Cent series, something you want to look for, and just a great coin. I own a couple graded examples of this. They could get pretty pricey for like top pop grades, many hundreds if not thousands of dollars. But another good one to look for. This one sold for $81 as a raw example, and that's with 15 bits. Okay, so this is our last lot for this particular PCMR, but we have a lot of 3 1986P Washington quarter errors. We have 2 off-center strikes you can see there on the left and the middle, and then the coin on the right is a broad strike. Just a really phenomenal mix. I have a feeling, much like the other set of coins that we saw earlier with the nickels, that these were probably all pulled from a mid-state bag back in the day, which did exist. And, when they're all in mid-state condition, like this lot right here, that kind of has that tell of where it came from. There's the reverse images. Again, such pretty coins, very nice high-end examples if you need it. I would say this is going to be a lot that most people would just keep because, they're quite dramatic and they're really nice. This 3-coin set, believe it or not, was kind of a bargain at $92.95, and that's with 23 bits. So, I see it as a little bit of a bargain. So, you might be able to possibly sell these. I don't know. I think all the opportunity of making money off of this one might have come and gone, because $92 is a good, healthy amount of money for this lot. All right, so like I said, we were going to end it off on a Bicentennial $50, and here you go. I mean, this coin is here for a reason. This one is broad struck, uncentered, by the way. You can still see a little bit of the rim here on this edge, but, this is a really good example. It's a Philadelphia minted piece as well, and another coin, again, that's to help support the value of errors on bicentennial coinage, not just the Kennedy $50, but also the quarter, which is really big because it's like one of the most popularly collected coins within the last 45 years. In addition to the Ike dollar as well, but to a lesser extent. This one right here ended up selling. This is a shocker. $115.27 with 21 bids. If we went back to the listing where the seller was offering the 5-coin lot of Kennedy $50 errors, one of them was a bicentennial that looked as similar as this. So that particular lot that sold for $65, I mean, that could be a really good flip opportunity, knowing that this one right here sold for this amount of money through way of a traditional auction format. But that's going to go ahead and do it, guys. Nice little midweek report for you. Hopefully, what you see here today is going to spark a little bit of interest for you guys to go out there and look at your coins, to go and pick up some bank rolls at the bank. Among a few other things. A lot of great stuff still to be found out there. As you can see, there's no shortage of errors and varieties that people are listing on eBay, and it's a great way, again, to make a few bucks in the process. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Sean, with BlueRidgeSilverhound. I want to thank each and every single one of you for all your views and support. It sure was a slice being able to deliver all this great information for you today. Don't forget to do all those 3 things on screen there if you haven't done so already. And my coinaholics, you know what I'm going to say. 3, 2, 1. Have a good day. Well, no. We are discovering together. Still.